Hi, I'm Rich Torrey. Welcome to another Level Up Cartooning. All you ever need to follow along with me is a pencil and paper. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? Okay, so last week during our month-long celebration of Halloween, we drew one of the opening scenes from the groundbreaking 1929 inaugural Silly Symphony animated short, The Skeleton Dance. And after, I said that we might even do another scene from the Disney classic, animated by the great Iwerks, specifically the skeletons dancing. And so that's what we're going to do. Draw skeletons dancing from a cartoon animated by Iwerks. Only it's not from the Skeleton Dance. It's from the cartoon Iwerks created in 1937 for Columbia Pictures' version of Silly Symphonies called Color Rhapsodies. And the cartoon is not the Skeleton Dance, but the Skeleton Frolic. And if you haven't seen this one, I urge you to look it up. In fact, watch both the Skeleton Dance and the Skeleton Frolic. It's well worth your time. Almost 10 years have passed. Not only is the Skeleton Frolic in color, but the animation skills of Iwerks have sharpened considerably. That said, it couldn't possibly have the same impact on audiences that the original had because the Skeleton Dance was the first. Anyway, I think you're going to like this one. It's going to be a challenge because we're drawing 4 skeletons dancing in 3/4 angle. Not easy. That said, I'm going to break it down in a way that hopefully will make it easier to master. I've even created a separate roadmap drawing for each skelly that you can screenshot and print out that will help you get the proportions right for our 4 skellies. Once again, I want to emphasize something that I said last week. With this drawing, it's very important that we don't start with one of the character's eyeballs and try to build the rest of the drawing from there. We want to start by mapping out each skelly and the size of that skelly in relation to the next skelly. Okay, enough about skellies. Before we get started, make sure you hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button as it helps this channel to grow, and hit the bell so you never miss a lesson. All right then, let's draw our scene from Iwerks, follow up to the Skeleton Dance, the Skeleton Frolic. We're going to draw a Skeleton Frolic scene step by step, giving you the secret formula to be able to draw it again and again. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I normally use the character's head to figure out how big the entire character is. In this scene, while each skeleton is slightly smaller than the one before it, each skeleton is the exact same proportions, 5 heads tall. In other words, however tall the skeleton's head is, his entire body is 5 of those. One other hint, you'll see that I used the first skeleton's left hand as a positioning guide to know where to put the next skeleton's head. Just something to look out for. Okay, so what do you say we draw the roadmap for a scene from Iwerks' Skeleton Frolic? So there's our roadmap for our Skeleton Frolic scene. Before we go on to step 2, I want to give you several images to screen grab. Each skeleton and the proportions of that skeleton all the way down the line. All right? Just something to help you envision how to lay out our 4 frolicking skeletons. All right? So now on to step 2. In this step, we do what I call roughing out the features. This is where we really begin to add those features that will make the last step easier. I want to remind you that until the third and final step, you want to draw as light as possible. You'll see that I use guidelines to help you to know where to put the skeleton's eyes, nose holes, and other things. We don't want those guidelines in the final drawing, so you want to draw them light enough to be able to erase them easily. Okay, so let's rough out the features of our Skeleton Frolic scene. Okay, so there are the roughed out features of our scene from the Skeleton Frolic. So now with the roadmap done and the features roughed out, it's time for that final step. In step 3, we get to have fun. We get to draw in the final details of our scene from the Skeleton Frolic. We don't have to guess where to put things because we've already done all the hard work figuring that out. As I often caution you, don't just mindlessly retrace over the lines you've already drawn. As you're drawing that final line, you want to be thinking about it and how you might improve it, staying vigilant until the very end. Okay, so let's draw in the details for our scene from Iwerks, the Skeleton Frolic. And that's how you do it. There you have it, our 4 frolicking skeletons from Iwerks' sequel or remake of the skeleton dance called the Skeleton Frolic. So how do you think you did? Understand if you've never drawn multiple skeletons dancing, especially in a difficult 3/4 pose, you can't expect to have drawn it perfectly. You notice I didn't spend time finishing or shading in our skeletons or add the spooky background during this video because I want my lesson to focus specifically on that tricky drawing process. Now you have the secret formula, the process for drawing this scene from the Skeleton Frolic. And with that, you can draw it again and again. And by all means, shade it in and give it a spooky background when you're done. I promise each time you draw it, it's going to be a little better and a little easier. I also promise the more you work with me, the better you're going to get at all of your cartoon characters. So I'd love to see your drawing of our 4 frolicking skeletons. As with last week's drawing, I encourage you to add your own spin on the spooky background. Maybe even give each skeleton its own personality or expression. Then, if you can, take a picture and post it on either Facebook or Instagram, and don't forget to include the hashtag #LevelUpCartooning. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this one. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for joining me. Until next time, keep drawing, my friends.